Evolve is a multiplayer 4v1 co-op competitive multiplayer game, or at least that's what the wiki says. The core gameplay is pretty straightforward. Members on the hunter side can pick hunters that each have different skill sets and benefits. Some deal more damage at short range, some at long range, some are pussies. A player on the monster side gets to choose a creature. They will then play as this monster and go around eating other creatures in order to evolve, and eventually take down the hunters. The hunter's objective is to kill the monster before it reaches max evolution, as this would make it very powerful, and the creature's objective is to reach max evolution and kill the hunters. Obviously, max evolution is now required to kill the hunters, and the hunters can still defeat a fully evolved monster, but both these scenarios count on the cooperation of the hunters between themselves to take down the fully evolved monster, and the skill set of the monster player to take down the hunters before it's fully evolved. There are a couple different maps which have creatures on them that when killed by either hunters or the monster give them each a respective boost. As of 2018, you can no longer install Evolve. The making of Evolve was a bit of a roller coaster. Evolve is made by Turtle Rock Studios, who is known for the Left 4 Dead series and Back 4 Blood. That's all there is on the website. Wait, why are you here? Turtle Rock Studios split from Valve in 2011, and fun fact, they had planned the ideas behind Evolve before they even made Left 4 Dead, but chose not to act on them due to how limited game tech was at the time. This was a pretty smart decision. They eventually pitched the idea to THQ, who was willing to fund them, but ended up going bankrupt. Broke ass bitches. Turtle Rock Studios eventually worked with 2Take Interactive, or 2K, after they bought the intellectual property Evolve for $11 million. The game was announced in January of 2014 and released in February of 2015. Overall, for how big and graphically sexy this game looked, it was worth the wait. The launch did well in sales and sold nearly $200 million worth of copies. Wait, never mind, that's Halo. Don't worry though, sales-wise, Evolve had a great launch day, but there was a lot of backlash. Don't get me wrong, the gameplay was there, the game was there, but most people thought EA had made this game with how it was priced. You could buy the base game for $40, you heard that right, just the base game, the digital deluxe edition that gave a season pass for $50 in total with the game, and the PC Master Race edition that gave 2 hunting season passes and 4 skins for $80. But don't worry, apparently this bundle was actually worth $90, so you'd be getting a $10 discount. Awesome. Oh, and you can also buy a monster for $10 called Behemoth. That's right, those $10 you save by wasting 80 instead of 90 can go to the Behemoth. There were so many paywalls, not to mention the amount of DLC that got released with it. It's almost as if the developers decided that instead of just making the promised game that they promised to make worth $60 with everything including the offered DLC available, they would make the base game $40 and overprice everything else. The thing is, people can be dumb, but gamers were too smart and would never overpay for something that isn't worth its price tag. As you can imagine, the launch suffered from greed, and Evolve's online player base slowly dwindled. Let's talk about the company, Turtle Rock Studios. The company is solid, they've made great games, nothing more needs to be said as far as games are concerned, but their last 2 biggest projects, Evolve and Back 4 Blood, which is basically Left 4 Dead 3 and hasn't even been released yet, suffer from the same problem. Too many microtransactions. I'm not going to get into Back 4 Blood yet because the game is not released and Turtle Rock might pull their head out of their asses with it. I'm going to list these positives out quickly because there's a lot. Gameplay is very good. Designs of everything are very good, if not phenomenal. The dialogue and voice acting is very good. The interactions with NPCs and entities are good. The game is really fucking good. The lore behind the game is also really good. Seriously, I know it may not seem as amazing now if you look at it, but when it was released in 2015, it was great. They turned a $60 game into a $200 game, except they didn't add anything to make it worth $200. There were so many jokes on launch day and week about Evolve being overpriced, and all of them were true. Don't get me wrong, I'd be fine paying a small amount for a Hunter's Pass or monsters, but 1/4 of the game's base price for a monster? Fuck off. Not to mention, this game was an online multiplayer game with microtransactions that cost the full price of a AAA title. And we all know how well that goes. The game died because the player base stopped caring about it, and the pricing was messed up. You may be asking, how does pricing affect the numbers in a player base? Especially since the sales were so good? I'll explain. If Evolve was made free to install but kept as microtransactions, the player base would have never died. This is similar to League of Legends. You don't need to spend money on the game, but spending could increase your enjoyment and unlock new content. Along with this, they could have had the game worth $20 and then kept the prices of Hunter Passes and the Behemoth to $10, and that would have been fine. Honestly, the negative stigma of the game, combined with the fact that it does get kind of boring due to how long the matches can get and how repetitive it can be in a quick manner, led to its downfall. If they had released the base game as the only version, then solely added free updates that added maps, characters, mechanics, etc., and maybe some paid DLC as well, the game would have been fine. It was just too much money for not enough content. Look at Left 4 Dead 2. I'd paid $30 to play this game, but it retailed for like $15, and it's now selling for $2. By the way, go to Steam and buy this bundle now. It's great. Turtle Rock Studios messed up their launch day and overpriced their game. Let's move on. How to fix Evolve? Well, simple. They can't fix it anymore, but they should have added more maps, more characters, more everything. Consistent updates that add stuff to the game, and pay DLC every now and then. Create new game modes or make the game not last 30 minutes for 2 minutes action. Burn whoever decided to make this fat bastard worth $10.